session. All right, let's get to it. So in this video, we're going to do the part 2 of the principles Think and Grow Rich. 6 of them, we discussed them on Friday. I'm just going to write down here. Please, guys, you'll excuse me. I don't have editing skills. I would have been presenting slides. I'm joking. So last week we started off with the first 6, but this week we're going to cover the rest of the 6 remaining, because they are in general. I think according to my understanding, when I read the book, I got about 12 principles that, help pave my way. So there are obviously more principles, but these are the ones that stood out to me. So okay, so the title, obviously. Okay. Excuse me a bit. Principles. Think and Grow Rich. Part 2. I'm joking. All right. Think and Grow Rich. Anybody can understand that. Oh. So we're going to list off the first 6 that we did present last week. Obviously, just as a reminder and all that. So we did remember I'm just going to list them. So it's just the first one was desire, right? You had to have that desire within you to actually do what's necessary. Excuse me a bit. The second was faith. Okay. The third was auto-suggestion. Oh my God. Okay. Auto-suggestion. And then it came imagination. Imagination. It's principles. Please bear with me. I mean, it's principles, yeah, because they are men. So I'd consider saying principles. I feel like plural. Or is it not grammatically correct? Because I don't know, man. English is a secondary language for me. Out here we speak Swahili. Nyaje. That's how, like, when you know how guys you greet each other like, hey, what's up in America? So out here we be like nyaje. Yeah. Welcome to Tanzania, by the way. It's a beautiful country. If you've never been, I cannot recommend it enough. It's beautiful. I'd suggest Zanzibar. It's beautiful out there. Specific knowledge was the coming point. No specific knowledge. And then there was organized planning, right? Because you had to organize your plans. Organized planning. All right. Principle. Oh, JJ, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. So I spelled it as principle, like the teacher, principle. Man. Principle. Yeah, JJ, thank you, man. Thank you. Michelle, have you been to Zanzibar? Yeah, Zanzibar is amazing. Zanzibar is great. I mean, yeesh, it's beautiful, life-changing. The food, like the weather, nice, nice. I'm glad. You should tell them about your experience. They're coming out from me like they'll sound I'm just promoting my country. All right. So anyways, so these were the first 12 principles that we covered in the last session. And we're going to go ahead and cover the next other 6 principles that I believe helped me, or can be of help to anybody that is trying to grab riches or is trying to be a consistent trader, right? Okay. So another principle is you should have a definite goal, right? Saying this, we're having a definite goal, it feels like sometimes people may take it the wrong way, because a person may feel like, yeah, like my goal is to be rich. My goal is to be a consistent excuse me. My goal is to be a consistent, and profitable trader. Okay, that's a goal, but it's too broad. Fix it down. Okay, yes, you want to be rich. Cool. How much do you want to be making? That's how you define your goal. You don't just say you want to be rich. You don't just say you want to be a consistent and profitable trader. You break it down to, okay, this is how much I want to be making a month. This is how much I want to be making a year. Having that definite goal will actually make the ways clearer for you to reach to your goal. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, if you say, okay, I want to be a profitable trader making 6 figures a year. Cool. Let's break it down. We can start from there, right? This is just a literary example, and I'm just saying it because we're all traders in here. You say, okay, cool. I want to make 100K a year. That's what, the lifestyle I want to start with. Let's put it like that. Or the amount just seems fair to you, whatever the case. Okay. So you say, I want to make 6 figures, which is anywhere from 100K this year, let's say 2023. The year is still new, right? So very achievable. Very achievable. All right. So you're like, cool. What's the easiest way for me to reach there? You have to define your goals and how you're actually going to reach there, right? So you go like, okay, 100K, I can reach there. I know it's possible. Or which way am I going to take? Will it be through personal funds? Or how am I going to reach there as a trader, obviously? Will it be through personal funds? Maybe with personal funds, it's reachable, but it's going to be very risky because I'm going to have maybe to overtrade and stuff like that. Let's say you're going to define it. Let's say how much are you going to put in? Let's say you put a $250 account. Just for example, let's make it 1,000. 200 is too small. Funding an account, 250, that's nah. So let's say you're going to put 1,000, but you want to make 100K a year. Okay, so how many percentage you'll have to grow for 1,000 to reach 100,000? Obviously, 100, 1,000, 10,000. So you'll have to grow your account by 10,000% to reach at 100K, just to touch that. So you'll have to grow your account by about 10,000 times. 10K percent. Is my math right, guys? Is my math right? Because wait, 1,000, that's 100. 10,000 will be 1,000, 10,000. I think I'm right. All right. So cool. So you say you have to grow your account by 10,000% to reach this goal. All right, cool. 10,000%. That's a lot. Is there another way out? Obviously, you have to go with funded. So okay, I want to make 100K. Funded, how can I get it? I have 1,000. You can buy a 200K account, let's say. 200K, let's say 200K to make 1,000. I'd have to grow this account, or have to make at least 100% of this. If I make 100% of this, obviously my break will be over 100K. That means I just have to double the account, let's say 100% to hit 100,000, because with 80% divide, you'll get about 160K, right? So you obviously all the way here, just because you've said, oh, I want to make 100K, your brain will start to define ways in which you can path to reach that 100K. I think I went into too much details here. I got derailed. So excuse me. I got derailed. But when you have that definite goal, when you define your goal to details, to small details, your brain will then find the exact path you need to take to reach the exact point you're trying to reach. Does that make sense? Rather than saying, I'm trying to be a consistent and profitable trader, anything that comes your way, you'll be taking it. Or let's take an example of being rich, right? You say, okay, I want to make maybe $1 billion this year. You have a limited time. You already have only 1 hour. You have only 1 year because you've said you want to be a billionaire this year, right? Now, if you start taking over all deals, you'll be too focused on doing so many things that you won't be able to take advantage of the big move, if that makes sense, right? Because every deal that comes your way, you'll be doing it just so that you can make that money. But if you're really smart and you define your goal, like you understand, I want to reach $1 billion this year, right? If you define it like that, once a deal comes, if maybe it's too small, you understand it won't be worth your time because you understand it's not going to help you reach your goals faster, right? But if you just say you want to make money, if you just say you want to be rich, any deal that comes your way, you'll be taking it because you know you're just making money and your goal is to be rich. It's that little definition of how much you want to make that makes the difference, that tells you which deals to take, which deals not to take, because you know how much you're trying to make in what time. So the same thing goes with your trading. If you just say you want to be consistent, that's not enough. You can be consistent, but will it be worth your time? You know what I mean? So you have to define it down to goals, to definite goals. How much do you want to make? And then after that, the path will become clear on which ways you need to take to reach there the fastest. So yeah. The other point that they talked about in there, that I found that was of useful, it was persistence. Okay. Persist. Now I'm very watchful. I don't wanna create another spelling mistake. Persistence, right? So with persistence, do you know the phrase that this is not the phrase, it's actually it's an actual fact. Do you know that water, like for instance, if you take water and a stone, what is like solid? What is hard? It's obviously a stone, right? But did you know that if a rock is just below maybe a waterfall or a place that has water dripping on it, after an average of after a long period of time, that stone will create a hole there. Did you know that? So that's the power of persistence. Water can actually dig through a stone over a period of time. That's how strong persistence is. It will create a way even though there was no way. So I think this is in the book Think and Grow Rich. The author tries to talk about persistence as one of the things that actually makes it or breaks it for a lot of people. Because persistence, in other terms, it can mean consistency, right? Going at it, always going at it, right? So persistence, we as traders obviously face a lot of challenges. We take accounts, sometimes they blow, sometimes they don't. We have bad weeks, such as this week, we had a losing week, that happens. But will you see through? Will you be persistent even through the bad times, being consistent with your trading plan, being consistent with your trading style, being consistent with your discipline to actually manage risk, to not revenge trading, to not chase trades? Will you be persistent and consistent with it? So in the book, he actually angles it down to talking about gaining riches. So in the book, he talks about while hustling out there, while trying to make money, obviously entrepreneurs always face a lot of challenges. Businesses fail, this go bad, a bad quarter, all of that. But if you see through, those hard times are what build you. Because in those hard times, you learn things that next times, once they come around, you won't repeat the mistake, you'll be stronger. So same thing applies with trading again. The times that you're going through, right? If you had maybe a bad week, a bad streak, maybe you blew an account, all those hard times, if you're persistent with them, that means they'll be teaching you something. Next time, if maybe you over leveraged an account and then you blew it, next time, obviously, once you find an account, you won't over leverage it. But if you are not persistent with the plan, if you're not persistent with chasing the goal of becoming a consistent trader, if an account blows, it's very easy for you to give up and say, nah, trading is a scam. It's never going to make me rich. Trading is very hard. Nobody knows trading. It's just institutions trying to take money. It's very easy for you to go that route and just exit the building, you know? But if you're really persistent, it will teach you a lesson. And next time you get back on the field, you won't over leverage because you'll understand this is what cost me last time. And you'll have become stronger. I'm not saying you'll grow that account. You might blow it again. And you'll be like, okay, what cost me this time? It was risk management. You might deposit and blow again. So, but as long as you're consistent with it, you're always learning. So it will reach a point where you stop blowing the accounts because you've learned, you've made all the mistakes you can make. You know what I mean? So persistence actually builds people. If you're persistent enough, you can accumulate wealth through riches. And if you're persistent enough, we as traders, you can always make it. You'll always become a profitable trader in due time. Like there's no resistance. There is no resistance if you're persistent enough. I think that should be a phase. That should be a quote. There, there isn't no there. How should we put it? There is no resistance if you're persistent enough. I don't know, man. I'm not good with quotes, but I think that sounds dope. All right, cool. Another principle that I picked up in the book Think and Grow Rich that can also help us out as traders and, you know, really take our trading maybe to the next level. All right, cool. It's the fear of criticism. So these are just random for those that are new to the webinar or are just joining us. These are just random principles from the book. Once I read it, I was like, okay, these are principles of how you can accumulate wealth, how you can accumulate riches. But also, if you really look deep into it, or if you look at it from another perspective, they can actually make us or help us become, you know, profitable and consistent traders. So I thought about sharing with you guys. Yeah, I hope it's helpful. I hope it's helpful. Excuse me a bit. Um, okay. Fear of criticism. Criticism. This is another principle that he highlighted in the book, the fear of criticism. So a lot of people in the book, I'm going to start with the way he talks about in the book, because I believe we're all trying to make money. So even if you do one day decide to quit on trading for whatever reason, but it will help you in your journey to accumulate wealth. So the fear of criticism, he talks about, hey, but as long as we're in the family, no trade, we're not going to quit trading. Nah, we ain't doing that. We're not quitting. It's pedal to the metal till we make it. No quitting trading in here, man. Simple trading, nobody's quitting trading until we make it. All right, cool. So the fear of criticism. The fear of criticism he talks about in the book, he says a lot of people are actually afraid of being criticized and how people will look at them, you know. He talks about, for instance, on the road to riches, a lot of businesses, you know, once you want to start them, a lot of people will have their opinion in it. Family, people as close as your closest friends will be like, no, but the guy down the street started this and then he went bankrupt. Why are you doing this, you know? So that, and sometimes even your parents may advise you against it. So, you know, you don't want to feel like you're letting them down. All of these are just, you know, those voices inside of you talking to you, trying to show you that, you know, this isn't it. But that fear of criticism has held back a lot of people from being rich, according to the author. And I tend to agree with him. But let's switch it from the being rich to the trading side, right? We as traders, obviously, since we're all in the family here, I believe all of you guys know a person that talks down on trading, or the person that is like, no, trading isn't really all that, you know? Um, Sometimes these people might even see you withdraw money, but still be like, yo, that was just a lucky streak. You're just gambling. You know, they don't want to involve themselves in trading because they believe people think they're gambling, they're wasting their time. I, for myself, I actually know a couple of you. So I was like, okay, cool. So this actually directly relates to me. I don't know how about you guys, but the fear of criticism is holding a lot of people from doing a lot of things, not just trading, not just starting businesses, not just living the lifestyle. Like this is an actual prison. It's an actual prison. A lot of people out there are not doing what they want to do. They're not doing what they love to do because they're afraid of so and so will judge me this way. If you're in that, if I don't know what to say, man. In any criteria in your life, if it's like that, like if you feel like you're in kind of a prison because you're not doing what you love because of so and so will say something about me, please, you gotta break free. That's a prison that you create yourself. You have to break free. Um, Please, for the family, you gotta break free in whatever criteria it is. So back to trading, the fear of criticism, guys, is holding back a lot of traders from becoming successful. Sometimes they don't want even to seek out the right mentorship because they feel like there are a lot of rumors out there saying like all the gurus out there, the so-called gurus are actually, fakes. They're actually scammers, which is true. Most, I wouldn't say all, but I'd say most are actually scammers and they don't know what they're doing. Then they make money off selling courses and all that. But in that cloud of fakes and whatnot, there are some genuine people in there that actually know what trading is, that actually know whatever you're trying to learn is, right? Now, if you're actually really into it, so I'm going off point, excuse me. So the fear of criticism, I was trying to narrow it down to a point that there are a lot of people actually aren't seeking out that mentorship because they don't want to risk their money because they're afraid if they lose the money, people will laugh at them and go like, we told you, you've just been scammed. You know that. So they're actually being held back by what people think if they're actually scammed. So they're not willing to take any risk, which is also a prison. So the fear of criticism in whatever angle, in whatever area in your life, not just trading, not just starting a business, but if you're actually thinking of what people think of you, guys, you have to stop that. That's a mental prison that will haunt you. It will never break free unless you actually break out of it. It's tormenting. Please, you gotta break out. All right, cool. The fear of criticism, that was another point that I got, or the principle from the book Think and Grow Rich, and I thought it would be of help. So we have mastermind groups, mastermind groups, which I think this is beautiful. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, so yeah. Mastermind groups. I think there should be space here. Okay. Mastermind groups. Now, in this point, what the author is trying to illustrate in the book is that for you to reach somewhere, you can't reach there alone. Okay, you can, but it's going to be very, very hard. That's the reality. Now, if there's a way to easy or to make your journey easier, why won't you take it? Now, he talks about the power of having groups. He calls them mastermind groups. So he says that, for instance, we as traders, obviously, so I'm going to narrow it down to that perspective. Take an example, if you are deciding to grow up or to become a successful trader by yourself, no group, like there's no group of Forex that you're in, no channel that you're in, no YouTube channel or community that you're in, like on your own, you're just looking at the charts blankly. You know that you can make money, but you have to figure it out from scratch on what to do. How long do you think it will take you for you to be successful? Obviously, it's a very long time. It's a very, very long time. But because of these mastermind groups, these communities of people that have actually taken steps, that actually know something about what you're trying to do, actually make your way easier, because they'll be instructing you like, okay, you want to make money through trading? Cool. For you to do that, you need a strategy. A strategy is how you enter the market. They start teaching you that because they have already practiced it in the past, and they know it works. So it actually makes your way easier, right? So switch it to any topic in life. You want to grow riches. You want to enter maybe in a logistics business. You'll have to sit down with people that are into logistics to actually give you a couple of hints. Like, okay, you're trying to start a company. Cool, cool, cool. Maybe these are the challenges that you'll be facing in this industry. So you don't try to do this because it will cost you money in the long run. Like, they'll give you small hints that will make your journey easier, that will make you are to reach success faster than if you decided to do it all alone, right? That's just the reality. So the power of mastermind groups, it's applicable in any criteria in life. Anything that you're trying to do, somebody has tried to do it before. Seek them out. Involve yourself in these, communities. You'll pick up a lot of things that will save you money, time, and efforts to actually figuring them out by yourself. So for us, we know that it's not a problem. Obviously, we're in the simple trading community together. So we already got that checked. So this is like check. We got that in luck. But also, these mastermind groups, not only do they give you hints of what to do in order to reach success or in order to be successful, but they also have to be, you have to involve yourself in groups that not only push you to do, but also inspire you, like involve yourself with people that are where you want to be so that they can actually inspire you to get there. That's another part of the mastermind groups. It inspires you. It shows you that it's possible. It's in the flesh. You can see it. So that's another part of mindset, inspirations. They can actually inspire you. They don't just teach you, they inspire you. And Lord knows we all need some inspirations here and now, here and then, right? Because in anything that you're doing, if you're trying to pursue anything that's great, obviously you'll always be facing problems. You'll always be having challenges. Like, you'll actually start doubting if it's even possible. But if you see somebody, or if you're in a community with somebody that has actually done it, it actually inspires you, like, no, like, he's done it. It's possible. He's done it, So that's the power of mastermind groups, right? In the book, he insists on having the principles. It's one of the principles of if you want to be rich fast. He talks about you have to surround yourself with rich people, obviously. You want to be rich, hang around with rich people. You want to make money, hang around with people that make money. You'll start making money soon too. But if you don't, I'm sorry, but that's your reality. Like, he also illustrates that point of you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around with, So for instance, if your closest 5 people are maybe making about less than 10K a year, let's talk about maybe in US dollars. We're talking about US dollars, okay? So let's say the average of the people that you hang around with make on average less than 10K a year. You are going to also be on that average. It's not rocket science, but it's just the way it is, right? So if you want to make more money, you'll have to surround with people making more than that. You want to make 100K, surround yourself with people that make 100K. Soon enough, you'll start making 100K. That's just how it goes. That's not science. I think it's science because it's physics. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and it's the reality. So that's the power of mastermind groups, guys. In whatever you're trying to do, surround yourself with the people that have done it, are doing it, so that they can actually support you, challenge you, inspire you. Cool? Cool. All right, all right, all right. Another point that he talked about was the alibis of failure. I think I've already talked about this in the fear of criticism. I shouldn't have, but it's kind of one point. So I wrote them down beside me. I was looking at it and I was like, okay, now this comes along here. So it's the alibis of failure. The alibis of failure. So in this point, he just highlights that a lot of people, while they're trying to pursue anything, there'll always be people, or there'll always be evidence of what you're trying to pursue having failed. So for instance, if maybe you're trying to start a business, in the community, you'll obviously see the same people, some people try to start the same business and it failed. So it's there, like proof is there that somebody tried and failed, right? But if you look at those and actually take them in and accept them, that's your end. Obviously, in our communities, we know a lot of people that have tried trading and have failed trading, and they just gave up on it. If you took that and accepted that trading is impossible because so and so tried and failed, that's your end. That's the end of you. That's the end of your career. So it says that the alibis of failure, they're all around us. We just have to choose to ignore them, right? And by choosing to ignore them, you can just leave a plate vacant. We know that's not how nature works, but you have to replace them with the alibis of success, right? You need to actually look at the ones that succeed. So for instance, if somebody failed in that business, look for a person that succeeded in that business and look at that. Don't focus on the failures, focus on the success, right? They say trading is hard. Look at the successful people that have made it. It's worth it. Yo, it's worth it, you know? So it's possible and it's still very worth it. So it talks about the alibis of failure. It says in the book, it says these shouldn't really cripple you because they're always there, will always be there, and they're always going to be there, but they shouldn't cripple you from what you're trying to do. So yeah, the other one is negative influence, which I think we've just talked about it in here, free of criticism and alibis again. So this was the same point. But these are the principles that I collected from the book Think and Grow Rich, and how we can actually apply them into our trading so that they can actually, you know, make us better traders. JJ, very, very helpful. Thank you, GTA, very helpful. Almost impossible. So yeah, it was almost impossible. I think you're talking about that point when I said you're just looking at the charts and you don't know anything and you have to make money out of it. Almost impossible. So that was the point of Mastermind Groups. So yeah, guys, these are the principles of the book Think and Grow Rich in 3D. I don't know what to say next. Okay, cool. So that's our session for today, guys. If you have any questions, you know, now is your time. If you have any questions, any suggestions, if we should continue doing spin-offs from books like this and regulate them into trading to make us better traders and, you know, maybe make us some money out there in the real world. But let me know if it's cool, if it's good. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, by the way, guys. Our YouTube channel, you need to subscribe to that. Simple Trading. Michelle, what happened to you? The power of leverage. The power of leverage. You want me to talk about the power of leverage?
No, we're talking about mastermind groups, like associate people with knowledge, like they have advantage, like things you're looking for. So I mean leveraging, like when you try to leverage with people that, okay, fine, to make work easier for you. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Thank you for highlighting it. So yeah, man, true. It makes work easier with leverage, like people help you out. Michelle, in the beginning of your trading journey, you're more profitable than now that you know more things. I feel like that's a mindset thing. Okay, you may have made more money, but you know, that's just a perspective change. So okay, like for instance, I can relate to that. I can actually relate. So for instance, for me, the biggest account that I have ever grown, it was in my first year in trading. Like the biggest account I've grown percentage-wise was in my first year of trading. So I remember I was just coming home. It was my second year in college. So it was my second year, it was my second year in college. I just got from holiday. I deposited $100 in my trading account. And I was like, okay, cool, we're going to do this. And I was just from reading the book thinking, no, like the book Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. So I was like, okay, now we're going to do this. My mind, my psychology is set. I got capital. My knowledge is on point. Let's do this. It's crazy. I flipped that account. Like it was on Monday, the market opened. I deposited 100. On Tuesday, London is opening. I have 200 in my account. On Wednesday, I had over 700. Thursday, it was over 1,000. On Friday, as the market is closing, I'm sleeping on $2,000 in 1 week. Imagine that. It was crazy. It was crazy. Like that's the biggest, like profit-wise, that's the biggest flip I've ever made. With in 1 week, 100 to 2,000. Crazy, crazy. So what I'm trying to say is that, like for instance, right now, even if I had 100 to throw around, I know I wouldn't be able to multiply it like that, right? So right now you're saying you made more money than you made more money in the beginning than you are right now. That can be a lot of factors. Don't beat yourself up. Okay, look at us for instance here in the Simple Trading Academy. January we ended the month in negative 0.75. We didn't make any money. We just ended the month in a small loss. February so far, last week, the first week wasn't profitable. This week it isn't profitable. So this is almost like the second month into the year. We still haven't made profit. Does that mean that we were better at the beginning of our trading careers, or like me specifically? Does it mean that I was better at the beginning of my trading career where I flipped that account? No, it's just the market conditions are now different. And I understand that, okay, cool, I can work with that. But in the long run, I understand like, okay, I may have preserved myself right now. I may not have made money this short period of time, but in the long run, I know it's going to be useful and it's going to help me tenfold if I made, more gambling decisions right now. So I think that's how I can, or that's the perspective I have of it. JJ, you're laughing at Michelle. Oh, yeah, crazy. Wow, crazy. Oh, Michelle, 200 to 6,000 in 10 days. Yeesh, you flipped that. Insane. Life was simple. Oh man, crazy man. But at the end of the day, yeah, I feel like it's what I just said. It's not about a matter of consistency. It's not a matter of we are making more money or all that. But if you really look at the numbers, I flipped that account from 100 to 200 in 5 days. You flipped 200 to 6,000 in 10 days. If we are really honest about it, we overtraded, we over leveraged. It just so happens that the market went in our favor. That's why we made all that money. That's the reality, right? If the market didn't go in our direction, very easily we could have blown the account. Very, very easily. So I think you're just looking at it from a wrong perspective. It's not that you're not making more money right now. It's right now like you are following a lot of rules. You're following a lot of, guidelines that in the long run they'll pay off, but in the short period of time, they always seem to be boring. They always seem to be not working. That's why they say professional trading is boring. Like there's no excitement. So I think you should look at it from that perspective. Life was simple, yeah. A lot of rules, yeah, but that's what it takes for you to be consistent. Because okay, let me ask you a question. You maybe made that 200 to 6,000 within 10 days. After that, your next account, how did it go? After you made your withdrawal, the next account, how did it go? Because I remember mine, I made disaster, exactly. So that was just a gamble, and luckily the markets went in our favor, you know. So we just made money. We may feel as if that was our peak, but no, that was just a glimpse of what we're going to make if we stay consistent with this thing, you know. So in the long run, obviously, we're still gonna be, you know, profitable. But yeah. Man, it just reminded me of good old times, man. I was happy. I remember that Friday when I was closing that account. I was looking at the trade because it was about dancing about 1,999. It's coming back 1,997. I was like, if it reaches 2,000, I'm closing this thing. So I was watching it very closely. It hit 2,000. I was like, pop, pop. I closed it very fast. I made a withdrawal. Crazy, man. You just reminded me of the good old days, man. Thank you for that. Me too. I was super happy dreaming about that. Yeah, man. We all have those good streaks, man. I feel like every trader, if you've been in the game long enough, there's always that one streak you can't really forget. You're like, nice, that time, man. Good old days. Hey, we all have those good old days. But I'm gonna promise you one thing. Those are the good old days, but better days ahead of us. If we stay consistent with this thing, if we're persistent enough, better days are ahead of us. Trust me on that. All right. We got 3 minutes left, guys. So if you have any questions, you know the vibes. Tomorrow, obviously, we're still going to have that session to review the trades we took this week. So be sure to tune in tomorrow. Hey, G2As.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question because I talked about it in the last time I joined the Zoom class. Like, if we are going to get a funded or a challenge account, how are we going to work with it at this point in time? So I don't really understand. I blew my first funded account I got January, but I'm looking forward to getting another account, and I want to know how I'm going to work with it this time.
Yeah, so G2As, look, as I was saying last time, I remember you asked the question, and I was like, I gave it straight to you. Like, I was like, we can sometimes avoid the unnecessary losses in the market, right? Look, with the trading style that we had and the opportunities that the markets presented themselves, we ended up with a losing month. So one thing you need to understand with these prop firms, right? One thing that you need to understand with these prop firms is that they're actually set in a business kind of, what can I say? From a business perspective, that means for them, they're trying to make money either way. So if you buy an account, first things first, they're going to try to make you leave that account on the table so that you can come back and purchase another one, right? But also, if you pass the funded accounts and all that, once you really get funded, you can see that's why they release the stains, like there's no time limit, there's no what, as long as you don't just violate the drawdown limits, right? But once you're in the door, once you're foot in, they always try to, you know, make you lose that account. That's the time period. Now, January had a losing month. That's why we lost the account. I also had an account. I lost the account. Obviously, it's not that we had a big loss. The month ended, we were down negative 0.75% for January, right? Last week here, the last 2 weeks, February is the month that we've taken losses. This week we're down 3%, obviously. So if, for instance, you take this in a perspective, do our trading strategy, is it back tested? Yes. Is it profitable? Yes. In the long run, we know it will make us money. Cool. But our problem is a short-term problem. So how are we going to face that? So as I said last time, we really can't avoid that. That's just the problem that's in front of us. We can't avoid it, because if we get a losing month, it's not us that's the problem. The market was ranging. The market did its thing. We used our edge, but we weren't profitable. So unfortunately, we lost the money, right? So that's the reason why we always say in trading, you also need to, you know, be trading with money that, you know, you can't afford to lose, because at the end of the day, is the financial markets, you know. So you may have a losing month, you may have a winning month, especially with these prop firms. We need to be extra careful. You need to be extra careful, like, because they have the time limit. Rather than, for instance, if you deposited that amount in your account, right now the account will still be like looking at in a small drawdown, but you still have over 90% of your capital. But with the funded accounts, we've completely lost it because of the time period, right? So that's the disadvantage that I can say of prop firms. It gives you a very big reward in case you make it on the other side. But while you're still here in the tryout period, like, it's tough. You gotta sweat, you gotta grind just to get on the other side. But once you get on the other side, the reward is major. The reward is major, you know. So my advice for anybody out there that's in this session right now, if you want to get a funded account, first make sure that you are financially liquid. Like, don't depend like the money in that funded account is the one that's going to make it for me, because you never know. You may have a losing month, the account may just easily go away. So for instance, if you are just new in trading and you actually have some liquid on you, you can personally fund that. Once that money comes back, you know, starts giving consistent profit, then you can use it to, you know, buy the funded accounts. But that is if you're actually, you know, that financially liquid. Because for instance, on average, making maybe 10%, if your account is maybe $100, that's $10. What are you going to do with $10? So it's better for you to even risk it on, you know, funded. But if you are financially liquid, like you can deposit, let's say, over 4 figures, then I'd say you deposited in a personal account, that so that you can actually be safe. And then the rewards that you get from there, then you'll be buying the funded accounts, because the funded accounts have a time period, and it's very hard for you to actually guarantee that this month will be profitable. All the traders have go through losing months sometimes. So you gotta put that in your, you know, understanding, so that you won't have the false expectations and all that. But yeah, thank you, GTAs. So that's what I think. All right. Does anybody else have another idea, question, suggestion? Man, I enjoyed today's session though. I enjoyed today's session. Yeah, I remember. Michelle, with funded accounts, it's not hard. I wouldn't say it's hard. Obviously, if you have a good trading strategy that's already back tested and your risk management is on point, I wouldn't say it's hard. But the only challenge that you may face is that once you take the account, it's under a time limit. So that means once you purchase, the first trade you take, you have 30 minutes to grow the account by 8%. So that means if the market conditions aren't favorable in your time of trading, and once the month ends, let's say, even if you're in a small drawdown, they'll take the account and you'll have lost that money, you know, that you purchased it with. But if you pass the phases and you get funded, the money that you used to get the personal account, to buy the account, will be refunded to you. Plus, you'll be getting cuts like 75, 80, 85, depending on the prop firm that you're using, of the profits that you made. But yeah. Yo, nice. Nicholas, 3%, nice. Your boy, I didn't make any money this month. This past month, I didn't make any money. This month, I'm in a drawdown. Man, I'm just living off the funds I withdrew in November. But you know, that's the advantage too of having funded accounts. If you get a good month, it's guaranteed to help you, you know, sustain yourself for a long period of time, because it's not going to be a, you know, the withdrawals, right? Because for instance, I don't wanna get into numbers, but that's the advantage of having funded accounts. If you make a single withdrawal, it can easily cover all the expenses for a long period of time, plus it can give back what you lost. For instance, January, for those that took the trades while we were starting the year, we lost the accounts because we were in a drawdown. So for instance, let's say we take another one and then we pass it. Even 2 or 3%, if we gain that a month, easily it has covered all the, the losses that we took. So with funded accounts, that's the risk. But you gotta be financially fluid, to always have that paper ready in case something doesn't go right. So yeah. I'm working on 2 funded accounts. Man, that's nice for you, man. That's nice. So yeah, guys. That's all I prepared for today. So have yourselves a great weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow when we're reviewing the trades that we took during this week. Thank you too, guys. I really appreciate you. Appreciate you for joining me. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have yourselves a great weekend. Refresh, take time out of the screen. Let's live a little. Work hard, play hard. That's the motto. See you guys. Peace.